Oh.
So, welcome everyone. Good evening to all our listeners. We're happy you can join us this evening for this briefing. My name is Ura Kweku Ado, and I will be giving or leading this session. First, apologies for the late start to this meeting because of some technical challenges that we had to deal with. But since those technical challenges have been cleared, we would just proceed with the briefing. We're gathered here. We're going to talk tonight briefly about the 4th of August protest, which we would say is the August for demo, hashtag August for demo, which is Fix the Country protest coming on Wednesday. It's a holiday, and we want to outline some of the measures that we have taken into consideration and some of the things that we have put in place for the protest. I think everyone would agree that COVID has become something that we all need to deal with and something that we need to factor into every communication or every program or activity that we embark on. And as such, because of that, we have consulted various public health experts who advise us on how to manage the COVID situation and how to factor COVID into the protest. So tonight we're going to have a briefing on what measures have been taken into account in terms of COVID and how we feel we can protect ourselves and protect the lives of every protester that comes or that shows up on the 4th of August. A lot of planning has taken place, and a lot has gone into the planning of this protest. And we can assure the general public that this protest has all the clearance in terms of security clearance from the police. We've had series and couples of meetings with the police administration, with the last one being one on just this week. All the necessary procedures have been embarked on, and we can assure the general public that security on the day, the police are going to provide us the necessary security on the day of the protest. If you're now joining, I would want to reset the room. It's basically about the Fix the Country protest happening on the 4th of August. This briefing is going to outline what we have done over the period in between the time of the announcement of the protest, and it's going to give details of how the protest is going to happen, where it's starting, the endpoint, and basically that's all we'll be discussing this evening. I would start by saying I'll start by running through the routes for the protest. I am sure most of you might be aware of the starting point of the protest, but might probably not necessarily be very familiar with the routes. The starting point of the protest is Obra Sports. Obra Sports is the current place where we have. I mean, it used to be a sports which is like a big place where people would gather for various courses. Now, the place that comes easily to mind would be the Kwame Nkrumah museum. The Kwame Nkrumah statue, If you get to Circle, where we have the Kwame Nkrumah statue, that's basically where the protest starting point would be. That is the new place, or that's the new landmark, which now takes or has the place for Obra Sports. That is where the protest begins from. We all converge at Obra Sports, starting from 7 a.m. On the 20th of, on the 4th of August. On Wednesday, we'll start converging at 7 a.m. in the morning. The route, which has been approved by the Ghana Police Service or the Greater Accra Regional Police Service, has been from Obra Sports. We get onto the Kwame Nkrumah Avenue. We take the Kwame Nkrumah Avenue till we get to Farisco traffic lights, which is closer, which is also around Frontline Pharmacy, and then we'll take a left towards TUC. From TUC, we'll go through the Accra Poly, the Accra Technical University, former Accra Poly, go through Accra Technical University, get to Kimbu Senior High. We'll get to the new AMA office. We'll go through the hockey pitch, the National Hockey Stadium. We'll go to the towards the Arts Center, towards the High Street, getting to Arts Center, and then we'll take a left towards the Independence Square. The final destination of the protest would be at the Independence Square. That's, mind you, it's a holiday, and it's going to be, I mean, there's basically no public office would be open, so we're going to finish our protest and have the final termination point at the Independence Square. A few things to note about the COVID protocol that has been put in place, and this is a briefing that we have put together. So I'm gonna indicate from the briefing that, so comrades, after several weeks of legal battles and weeks of preparation, everything is in place for a successful fix the country protest on Wednesday, 4th August, less than 4 days from now. The overwhelming support the campaign continues to receive validates the essence of the movement, and in itself signals the dissatisfaction with the poor stewardship of this country, especially among the youth. While we continue to prepare for our first of many protests on the 4th of August, we also continue to keep an eye on the COVID situation in the country and across the globe. We are aware of the difficulty of the pandemic on the lives of many. As such, the organizers will treat the pandemic with all seriousness, especially with the presence of the Delta variant in the country. You would recall, in our first notice to the police regarding our intended protest on the 9th May, we observed the absence of a government guideline on protest activities in the midst of the pandemic. We expected a responsive and responsible leadership to have developed and published such guidelines. However, more than 2 months on, there is nothing from the states to work with on this, especially regarding COVID. There is also a difficulty in keeping updated with COVID cases on the official Ghana Health Service platform due to data lags. For instance, the data as of 29th July showed 4,983 cases, active cases. As of, this data was checked on the 29th of July, and it indicated that the update was as of 25th July, which means that there was a data lag of 4 days, which we cannot account for. For us, we feel that despite this, it is important for us as organizers of the protest to take the extra steps to engage public health experts for advice on making the protest COVID safe. Hence, the substance of this briefing. Based on consultations with our experts, our public health officials, the organizers also have undertaken a scenario planning exercise about the COVID situation. We assure our comrades and the general public that we have considered all necessary steps. So far, the most effective measure against the virus is to wear a face covering and also maintain social distancing. The public health advice on properly wearing masks and social distancing remains at the heart of our efforts to ensure the protest is COVID safe and compliant. We will deploy a team of marshals on the day of the protest to remind and ensure the adherence to all COVID-19 protocols. We wish to emphasize peer responsibility during the protest. We can only be safe if we take care of each other. Kindly take notice of the following measures, because it's going to be the measures that we would want everyone coming for the protest to understand and try and keep. Face covering, which is a mask, is a requirement for the protest. The organizers will ensure that each person wears and keeps their face covering on at all times. A face covering means something that covers your nose and your mouth, such as a mask. Please, I would want to emphasize that we want to emphasize that this point again. A face covering or a COVID-19 safe face covering should cover your nose and your mouth. Please, let's try and keep this at all time. Please commute to the protest grounds in a mask, because if you're coming on public transport, please make sure that you have your mask on. The organizers will distribute masks to anyone who comes without a mask. Double masking is recommended. If it's possible, if you have two masks, you can put on a surgical mask and put on a cloth mask. I think it makes it safer, and it makes it more it makes it almost impossible for fluids to permeate your mask. In this regard, I think the person that comes to mind would be Archbishop Duncan Williams. We also the kind of protection that he projected during COVID. I think we should all try and keep this masking up very serious. Second, another important aspect or another important point would be to maintain social distancing, at least 1 meter from others. Each person should stay at least 1 meter away from anyone they do not live with, and I'll avoid long contact period with such person. If you don't come, or if you don't stay in the same household with another person, please try as much as possible to avoid long contact periods with such people. That way, it makes it difficult. It makes it a bit more difficult for the transmission to happen. Please wash your hands with soap and water before you leave the house, and use hand sanitizer gel regularly during the protest or during the march. The organizers would ensure, or would make sure that we have hand sanitizers available on the protest ground. We would encourage people to sanitize their hands as much as possible, and would also encourage people to carry their own sanitizers to the protest as well. Each person must cover their mouth and nose with tissue or your sleeve. This is the new way to sneeze during the protest. If you have your mask on, if you want to sneeze, you can just sneeze into your elbow, which has been approved as another way we can try and minimize the spread of fluids. Each person must refrain from touching their face, their eyes, their nose, their mouth, and eat with unwashed hands during the protest. Please, it's impossible. It's possible that you would want to touch your face, but please try as much as possible not to touch your face during the protest. If you want to touch your face, if it's needed to touch your face, please sanitize your hand or wash your hands. Find a place to get your hand washed before eating during the protest. We recommend that before coming to the protest, before arriving at the protest grounds, please try as much as possible to eat something from home as well, so that you don't necessarily have to eat during the protest. That way, we would be safe and would not be spreading fluids around as well. Carry a utility bag in which you would put all your mask, put all your hand sanitizers, and even wash your hands afterwards after using the hand sanitizers immediately. Carry a utility bag that you put everything into that bag, so that you don't necessarily have to go taking others materials from other people. That way we would all be safe. That way we would all try and ensure that we're keeping our distancing, and we're also making the protest COVID safe. Lastly, or the one important thing to mention is that there would be marshals. There would be marshals, or there would be people who are designated as marshals for the protest, and these people would try to ensure that everyone that shows up for the protest is wearing their mask and trying to keep the distancing or keep the social distancing protocols. So please, we entreat everyone coming for the protest to exercise restraints or exercise caution with marshals. Please just bear with them. It is for our own safety, and it's for everyone's safety, to ensure that we listen to the marshals and go according to the guidance from the marshals. To conclude, the organizers of the protest will continue to explore creative ways of ensuring COVID-19 safety during the protest, including the use of social distancing alert system for smartphone users. It would have been relatively easier if the government's COVID tracker app were functional and effective. Nonetheless, we believe that everyone showing up for the protest would adhere to COVID-19 measures outlined in the briefing that has been stated. We cannot wait to hit the streets of Accra with you soon. Expect more updates in the coming days. We are Fix the Country, and we demand better and do better. We demanding better and doing better as well. We demand to have a better country, and we expect that people will do better in this regard. To finalize on this briefing, please, on the day of the protest, we encourage people to show up in their numbers. This is not a protest about NPP. It is not a protest about NDC. It is a protest about the soul of Ghana. It is a protest about what we want from Ghana. We want to see Ghana march forward. We want to see Ghana go forward. It is important that we put everything aside and show up to do it for the country. We encourage everyone to show up for the protest and maintain social distancing, maintain all the COVID protocols. One important thing I would say is this protest is a non-violent protest. It's a non-violent protest. Fix the Country is not about violence. Please, showing up for the protest with a weapon is not necessary. It's something we discourage. Nobody should show up for the protest with any weapon. I repeat, please come to the protest with your placard, come to the protest with your nose mask or your face mask, come to the protest with your hand sanitizer, come to the protest ground with your water, come to the protest with your utility bag. I think that's basically all you need for the protest. All you need for this protest is a t-shirt, your boots, your face mask, your hand sanitizer. I think essentially that's all you need. There's no room for weapons. There's no room for violence. There's no room for vandalism. There's no room for anything that has to do with violence. Please, let's ensure that we show up for this protest and make it a peaceful protest. Let's do it for Ghana. Let's make sure that we show the way, we lead the way. We are asking for the country to be fixed. We want people to show up for this protest, to express their sentiment, to express to the leadership of this country, to express to their sentiments to the state institutions that are not functioning. We don't necessarily have to, we don't want any violence. And please be mindful of the fact that the Ghana Police Service would be on the ground on Wednesday to ensure that we would be safe. I know people have agitations about safety, but we can assure everyone that we have all the necessary clearance from the Ghana Police Service, and that the police are going to be our friends on the day. They are going to march with us. They are going to ensure that everyone would be safe. The police are going to provide the necessary security. They are also going to provide us with the traffic updates, so that commuters and people who would have to also go about their regular businesses would also find alternative traffic solutions or traffic routes for themselves. We encourage everyone to show up and do it for Ghana. Before we leave, or before I conclude this, it's important to also note that in the coming days, we will be engaging, we will be using, embarking on a social media drive, which would be what fix the country means to you. We encourage everyone to engage, to join this challenge. It's basically you uploading a video of yourself and of telling the whole world or telling the whole Ghana what fix the country means to you. I, as Ura, I have a background in transport. Fix the country means that we have a functioning transportation system that allows me to go to work and come back efficiently. What does fix the country mean to you as well? We expect, or we hope that you can also upload a video of yourself telling us what fix the country means to you, and don't forget to add the hashtag fix the country means. Fix the country means. The hashtag is fix the country means, and then you tell us what fix the country means to you. This challenge will go on from Monday, tomorrow, till the 4th of August. Basically, during the protest, we'll still ensure that we'll continue with the challenge. Thank you very much for joining us. I am going to briefly sum up the briefing in Twi and in Ga, so the masses would also understand. So the general public, or the segment of the population that cannot also understand English or cannot communicate in English. So I would communicate with people, or the segment of the population who can communicate in English. Enuanom ne adofo me maame ne mejanom nyame adoma ukwade ya ebe the 4th of August. Fix the country protest na yabohun deru no nyame adom afi na be wayi pomakwan mu say protest na emra so anaso oye kire no emra so oye kire we no ne ye hyase afi Kwame Nkrumah circle eye Obra Sports circle Kwame Nkrumah circle Obra Sports sisi a no ko no ma ba bia Kwame Nkrumah statue no esi no ba bia ye Kwame Nkrumah statue no esi no honom na ye nyina ye boaboa ye ho efi anopa nonson anopa nonson no ebehia e wo Obra Sports protest no send ye ahihye ho ye say ye de oye chen be nante mountain so ye be nante Accra mountain so enti ye be share ase afi Obra Sports if you Obra Sports ye be fa Kwame Nkrumah Avenue which is ekwan na da ye be nkum so no if you Obra Sports na you could do Farisco traffic lights na ya fa ye be nkum akọ TUC you could do TUC a be fa ye nifa akọ Accra Technical University which is baby near friend Accra Poly no enkan Accra Poly near ya nanti mu and ya call AMA office ho ananti mu and ya could do hockey pitch no ananti mu dia ko si art center you do art center ya fa benkum e dia ko wie Independence Square na ye hihye a ye dia to kwan mu nso ne chess e fa covid no ho no ye nim say yare no e wo krom but eno nso nya dia e wo say e di ehu eba near Ghana World Health Organization and I say Ghana World Health Organization omo mo hwe apomudin so e wo ewiase amanso no e kire say yare no wo hwe o mask na o hronsa o make sure say o de sanitizer ibi e ho hronsa amnamno na say o hwe so a eboa ema ebo ho ban efi yare no ema se be intesu anase insu a efi obi foforo ho a wo yare no bi no ebetimi nso wanya entini ye bo amanfo anase ye bo amanfo anu ba se obeba protest ni bia nyame adoma 4th of August okuada no oba protest na make sure say o mask wash your mask nenso no be do on manye say yenim say ewia bebo but enye say ye kata ye hwene ni akata ye kata ya no ni eja ye hwene ye the mask na kata ye hwene ene ya no na ya ko true protest no ye be ni di on so ne say obe make sure say so ba obe ti wo ho afi nkofo ho ye say keep a distance and I say only obi nipa ko oben no montemu distance na we say 1 meter and I say 1 meter at least into na main nipa bebre oba odi ene say ye nyina ye nanti abom ye be nanti abom ye wo nkofo a ya show mo say omo be hwe say obia e be nanti abom e wo nefeso nyame adoma ye from marshals oba obi unso mo hihye reflector and as almost a reflection could do on Mombet show or say, oh, yeah, FR protest. No, so ye bomb for no ban so say, so ba hand sanitizer, so hand sanitizer India, no offer Eddie show bag now the aba. Say, Obi doing as only hand sanitizer organizers, no, I make sure say hand sanitizers, honoma amount for bit me use, but ne papa muno. Yebesre amanfo so omo anfa omo hand sanitizers nso emra se obedu protest na se a yesre mo se ne yare no insomu yare efi onsa ano so obeso obi mu obeso bibi mu ene de yare no ede akwa no ene de yare no bebro entini e bo amanfo se anase ye catch amanfo se ma omo mfa omo protest na se a mo nso mani momu nso mo omo ni momu mfo mo nsa nso ma no abro mo horo mo nsa so peso udi dia ye be catch amanfo so muni di e wo fi ansa no ma ba protest no ase se ne be ya enko ba se odi nsa be ko wa no abra horo nsa saa no wo bo ho ban ye nso ye bo ye ho ban ni abo ya ye nyina ya bo Ghana ho ban se ye poman a ya ye ni yi a si ye nyina ye betena ase na yehu oman ye na ye hwehwe no chida e asumdie kwan so entokwa bi ani enye gidigidi bia so ba so bi beba no de akodie bi beba oye chira mia no so no ye sremo ye nsoso so anasa ban krampo ensoso so ni ye pese ye chira ne se ye chira no e de afa asumdie hu ye chira no e wa asumdie kwan so no weapons should be allowed into the patrol so ba ni ohia ni so de hand sanitizer and no mask ebeba no ape ene ye be ka show say fabra ni aka bia no enka de yesre oba ni obeba no o placard na oba o message a de ba no o de ba no o de o message na aba ba chire asem kura o pese empenifo anase o man no ehu efa o tibia ho no eno ne pese oba beka enye dedeye enye gidigidi ena enye ntokwasem yesre mo a ni edi ho nso no ni na wiye nso ne se efi nyame adom ochina eko no ye pese obi biara owo access to internet eja yes internet ni share se efi die sako internet ni so aka se efi na ekopim ukuada no ye video na kire amanfo anase ka kire ade a fix the country ejina emau saying na wo den na wo pe efa fix the country eho den na fix the country na sikire eye mau no na ye pese oka me no fix the country asikire ne say semenya ebenya transportation anase ebenya transportation system papa ebema yetimi akọ Accra anasi yako eduma ni asaba asumdiem enye transportation system a edi ni pekum ebebe anasi enye transportation system a de bia no yebeti accident ewo kwan so eno na me enu ti na me gina mu ewo fix the country eho wonso betimi a kire nia fix the country na se kire ema oye video na o de Facebook na o de atu Facebook na o de hashtag na ka ho fix the country means inti fi nyame adoma ochina edekopem ukuada no eno ne ba be na nyame adoma ukuada ye nyina ya bom ni ananti efi Kwame Nkrumah circle ayo Brasport ede akọ Independence Square I will conclude in that anyami me eji fix the country protest ni wo wie here hu keje May baako ni nyumodomo na wona gbe ni Ghana Police Service eha ogbaake 4th of August niji shone ni ba ne wo ba fe protest keje Kwame Nkrumah circle which is Obrasport Obrasport biane ko ote Obrasport aloko te Kwame Nkrumah circle ena fe circle Dubai eni Kwame Nkrumah statue le ma Germany wo ba je protest enshi wo ke protest ba ton Kwame Nkrumah Avenue, which is Niji Koje Obrasport, alo Koje Kwame Nkrumah statue here. Watchon left, watchon Obeku, Kotran Beku, or here na can street there no Kaji Faris School traffic lights, Koshe Faris School traffic light, or Watchon Beku, or Waji TUC, Koshe TUC, or Chemi, or Watchon Ejino, or Waji Accra Technical University, Niji Accra Poly, Chuchu Accra Poly, Ketchon Accra Metropolitan Assembly, new officer, Kaji Art Center, Kewashe Art Center, Obatron Beku, Niwa Pena, or allow Penny Independence Circle, Independence Square. Protest Waliake COVID, Ale Waliake Delta variant, ye mami. She noni atron won ake ni work wo public health for officials we nona me tron won ake virus ne virus ni anya sana ina samo no nje ake o mask ko wo mask o mask ni ba kaba o na bu ke ogugono isa no wo mask akoba cover ona abu keke no shi ogugon cause o shi ogugon you are exposed you aha virus o wa panify akeke nya ba protest o find them ofia mo abo modern ne ewo max ke cover e google ke e na abuno ni woba organize say ba ha mask shi ke oba ko shishia no ba ta o attach on ni ke ba o ba pa o fa ke ko ba attach on ni ke ba bom bomode ni owo mask ye ko choni emi e ja ke hela ole ni hela o ke hela ba te o ko o hie ma ni bomode no ba wo o mask no o ke ba protest ke o she protest ground there le hu what pa me allo what pa me ni di marshals ni ame nutumo ndi ake amba ton any protest ba ya boni aba fi protest bani aba domoshia ha boni aba march ke ha what pa nye fire ke kenye ba nye boa metui no na ba ke nye boa metui ni nye yia no aha eji ake Kenya boa metue no fia no baya no fia no baya boni isale noni chono noni ba pe no le unji ake ko ba protest enshi because hilane eke eji hilani eke mon kaba tamadi aba wi aba benke me ni eba ton na kan bejano ke transfer hila o akpa me fa ke ko ba protest enshi bomodin ni o shinge ye o ke money do mo ma say at least bomodin ake you can at least keep 1 meter ke ko oponi ni oni ni eno pa mi share money don't want to say at least you are keeping 1 meter away from the person oba pan nyam file le wake eji hilanel ko ni to mokudi alo ata o kon ni apapa he kume ni okuba beto da alo ke beto bomi lo ba ton ni wa na hilane o akpa me afa ke during the protest ke won beni won march here wo ba kpanye fa ka esa ni yeke ni ta ni wonye da esa no yoni around that during the protest call for ko there esa no yoni wo ba kpanye fa ka call ba bomode no ye ni ye hia ta o mo no ko fi o ke koku e to a koku no ke ba protest no mi achi boni afi ni ke won hie o wa won hie ni esa ni e kabala ke o wa pa ko ni wa ye ni during the protest and before I can look at Babitu da bomodin ake o 4D alone na any Bible to da o 4 dani Bible to da and no ni pure na nji ake eji protest no afi ne woke je no mo je gidi je no koni abana ba steni womba obasa ma ala alo wonpa wonwie alo wombolo ni asama isa ni oba no oba fiti onuko ye jeme o wa pa ma fa ke nuku ni yo hi alo okay oba ba protest ground there no ke nuko tumo klante alo tun alo nuko ba protest ground there wa pa ni fa ke shia ejake ba hia ye protest ground there no ni hia no nje ake o mask baba o hand sanitizer baba okay o placard call a message o manoko ye hia no to oni my ana na no keba chon the whole world alo no ba chon the whole Ghana no nji no ni wa akpanye fa ake keba esa ni moko ba ne ba feel gidi ejeme Ghana police have assurance ake ameke Obama chikeje Obra Sports Kenya Kaje Independence Square. It will need to have a police on the day. Police will give us the protection. Our protection. It's ni wa feel gidi egbe no. Keji Oba protest grounds no na ake men ko men fe gidi on papu fai. We go no ni wo marshal say ba wi etui. Amba tonye boni about faith and about control what he during such a moment. Nunji inamu keha briefing and warfare. I'll reiterate again that on the day there should be no form of violence, even if, and I'm emphasizing this as a caveat, even if there's any grouping that seems to want to distort the protest, we ask and we encourage everyone to listen to our marshals. The marshals would brief you on what to do. If it's beyond them, would escalate it to the police who are going to provide us with the security on the day. And I'm sure the Ghana Police Service would also do their best to ensure that everything goes according to how it has to go to. It is a non-violent protest. I repeat again, it's a non-violent protest, and we must observe it as such. Yesterday we know, enye gidi enye ntokwa yesre mu a, so obi kra de ntokwa ba muntie ye marshals no, ye marshals ne beka no, eno na muntie. Se bro mo so a omne police for no bekasa, ne police for no ebe kire ye no, ye ntie ne police for no be kire enye gidi enye ebo ototo enye afi ne ekop ye din kuntima eba protest na se. Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing everyone. I look forward to a massive turnout on Wednesday, and I would encourage people to also start having this communication or these conversations about Fix the Country in their homes. Ask people what Fix the Country means to them in your homes, in your own small way. Spread the word, and we are very certain that on the day of the protest, after the protest, it will be successful, and we'll come up with other roadmaps as to how we want Ghana to be fixed. Ghana has far long. I mean, we still continue to say Ghana is the shining light of Africa. We have gone past being the shining light of Africa. We need to be a shining light of the world. We need to be a shining light of the world. We started with Croatia, we started with South Korea, we started with Malaysia. Where are they now? They are far ahead of us. Why? They don't even have a quarter of the natural resources that we have. They don't have a quarter of the human resources that we also have, but they are far ahead of us. That's the reason why we all need the country to be fixed. The country has to be fixed. We demand better, we are demanding better, and we are doing better. Thank you very much for joining us, and it has been me, Ulua, and I hope to see a massive turnout on the 4th of August. That would be the conclusion of this briefing. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to see your conversation on Twitter and on social media and on traditional media spaces as well. Thank you very much.